Do you know why elephants sleep on their back with the feet straight up in the air?
Trip low-flying birds.
To trip low-flying canaries. That's pretty close. Isn't that terrible?
Yes.
I did torment my kids growing up. And I memorized 101 elephant jokes. So if you have an hour, terrible, isn't it? I do want to just remind us of some things we heard. Is that okay? Because you know in a good lesson, you do what? Tell them what you're going to tell them. And then? And then? There you go. So we've heard some things. And the theme today and yesterday and the day before was? On one mission. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about renewal, you're talking about pastoring, you're talking about church planting. If you lump it all together, on one mission. Do we get to determine the mission? No, you do not. And if we as the body, which is even larger than us, because it encompasses other people under other labels, correct? Would ever get the kingdom mindset that we are on one mission and we don't determine it? Who determines it? God does. Jesus does. Actually, in Matthew 16, what did Jesus say? 16, 18? I will build my church. Let's say it together. I will build my church. He didn't tell us to build his church. Because when we build his church, it doesn't end up being his, it ends up being ours. Is that right? Do you understand that significant point? Because then he did give us a job to do, and it is the Great Commission, and he even tells us how to do that with the Great Commandment. And the Great Commission is not go. And as you're going, imperative, make disciples. And if we, whether we're pastoring or planting, are all on the same mission to make disciples, it will show up in different ways, but we are on the same mission, aren't we? Pastors and planters are very different people. Have you noticed that? Amen. They're gifted in different areas because of how they are going to do the same mission of making disciples. Does that make sense? So when you think of planting, I like to think of pioneer work. And I want to give recognition to some people who have been pioneering and give them a certificate. I certainly hope they're in here. Chuck Frank, are you here? All right, come on up. Chuck is obviously a pioneer, church planting director in the Eastern region. They're taking new territory. And one of the things I know about Chuck that sometimes happens in leadership, and especially, again, I've been a soldier, I've been a policeman, and frontier work is dangerous, right? And it puts you in dangerous places because as Jesus is building his church and as we're out making disciples, it becomes dangerous to be on the frontier. And so I'm going to give him the book, The Painful Side of Leadership. Does that make sense? Does to you, doesn't it? So, out of recognition, I want to give you this pioneering award. God bless you. Rich Thornton, are you in here? Where are you, Rich? There you are, come on up. Who would think that if you were looking for church planters, you would put an ad on Craigslist? If you want to murder people? If you want to sell something? But to recruit church planters? You're crazy. Can you say? And that's a pioneer award kind of a thing, isn't it? Because he took it into a new area that we would have never thought of. And I want to give him the pioneering award. I'm going to give you the book. Do you have this book, Acts of No Pharisees? No. Well, you do not. The next one, Art Battle, are you in here? Oh yeah, good. Art Battle, you know, again, in my breakout session, I talked about there's all kinds of ways to enlarge the family. One is to have sex. That seems obvious. And you have children. But there's another way, and that's to do it through adoption, right? And one of the things Art has noticed, and you probably have noticed, there are a lot of congregations that operate independently, not connected to anybody. Understand? And when you're out there alone, you become an easy target for the enemy of our souls. Just like you do as an individual believer, you also do as an individual congregation where you're not connected to the larger body. He has noticed that and is inviting friends, church planters who have been in the work for 5 years or less. And he's beginning to collect them. And interestingly, the page 2 of that is they're starting to collect and get people together and say, we need to find some way to become part of the larger body of Christ. And that's a pioneering thing. And so I want to also honor Art Battle, who is leading that frontier. And I don't know if there's any significance. I think there is. And you're in the city, so I'm giving him the book, Killing Cockroaches. I'm tempted to tell you another elephant joke, but you can see me later. Thank you.